Exciting things happening at Tianas Bayou Adventure. We're losing an attraction in DCA, and I don't know what this is in Town Square. But let's get into some new business at the Jungle Cruise. Like, what that is. What is that? That's where the tiger is, on the Jungle Cruise. When I see some alligators, is the tiger there? I don't know. That's the scene we're talking about right there. There's a tiger to jump right over your boat. So there's obviously a huge difference in how that scene looks today. Let's get on a boat and get a closer look. Interesting. Look at that. So there's the tiger. He's right where he should be. But instead of just being in what looks like to be, a temple of some kind, it's now an archaeological dig site. And there's a notice. Notice says that no items may be removed from this site without written permission from the Board of Regents of the Archaeological Department. That looks remarkably like the notice that was posted on the walls at Indiana Jones when it was going through its lengthy refurb. The font and everything is identical. So I'm assuming this is a final product, that this is permanent and this is how it's going to look now going forward. No longer will it be, the temple that it was, the sort of abandoned, forgotten, lost temple. But it is now, archaeologists have moved in and they're digging there, but perhaps not for long because alligators and tigers have taken over the scene. I'm really curious what motivated Disney to make this change. I have to think that this is an effort to sort of thematically create another tie between the Jungle Cruise and Indiana Jones, and conceivably also the Treehouse, Adventureland Treehouse. Perhaps they're trying to unify those stories a little bit more. We are right across the way from, obviously, Indiana Jones Adventure, from that temple and that dig site. So perhaps they have jumped the river and are also digging here. I kind of dig it. On the one hand, I don't like to see them change a classic attraction, though I would have to assume that the scene that we used to see was, that's not how it was when the attraction first opened. So it's already gone through some evolution. So it's not like they're changing the original scene. I have to believe that. But it doesn't look as nice. It doesn't look as good as the temple scene did. I kind of prefer the way that the thing looked. It seemed more natural, more fitting. But, I like the idea of bringing things together. I like the idea of thematically creating something here. And I just had a thought. What if they're doing all of this so that they can make not an Adventureland Treehouse movie, not a Jungle Cruise movie, or obviously they do make Indiana Jones movies, but what if they're trying to make an Adventureland movie? What if there's a movie kind of like Tomorrowland? We're trying to bring all this together. I don't know. That'd be cool. I'd be okay with that. Let's find out. As for the rest of the scene, the other stuff is still there. I mean, it is, this is an archaeological site, or it should be. You've got that head right there, and you've got more of the, the abandoned structure there, the temple-like structure there as well. So I could see Indy being interested in a place like this. That elephant's probably got to mean something. Let's ask cast members. When you guys go to Adventureland next, the Jungle Cruise next, ask a cast member if I'll do the same. Let's all work this out. Let's figure this out, and then let's report our findings on Twitter. At me on Twitter, on X, First Baked Disney, that's fresh with no E. At me, and find out and let me know if you get any inside info, and I'll do the same. Old business, right next door, Indiana Jones Adventure, closed. That's pretty common. Right next door to that is the Adventureland Treehouse, the aforementioned Adventureland Treehouse. We noted in our initial walkthrough that there's a piranha in a boat, which we believe to be a connection to the Jungle Cruise. So there is, and also there's SCA connections. Obviously, in Adventureland Treehouse, there's SCA. Maybe that's what this is for. It's an SCA movie.
So this is
Could be.
But
that's not why we're here. We're here to report on the wheel. The water wheel has been operating off and on since the attraction reopened. On this morning, we found it operating. Well, the water wheel anyway looked to be operating fairly normally, but the buckets were not working. I also noticed, I think, if I'm not mistaken, this is not how we went in before. I thought we went in up the stairs, but they had us on this morning enter through the 88 ramps, which I don't know if that was what they were initially intending. I think it's just, well, I don't know. Why can't we go up the stairs? I feel like everybody wants to go up the stairs. We probably will in the near future. We'll go to New Orleans Square to check in on the Mark Twain. Last week we observed that the Twain looked remarkably bright and clean and fresh, and it looks even more so this week. In fact, you can see now that they've covered up. Everything's all buttoned up and covered. It looks like they're getting ready to do more paint. You can see the painter's tape there on the windows of the pilot's cabin up there. That's what you want. I forget what they call that. But it does look like they're giving this thing a thorough cleaning up, which I find to be great news. There's the paddle wheel. Yes, that is new. The paddle wheel is new. I don't know. I would assume that that's going to be the final form, that paddle wheel. If they were going to do anything else to it, like painting it or something, they would have done that already before installing it. Question, are those smokestacks new? To me, they looked dark, more vibrant, more saturated than before. That gold looks very clean and very clear, as does the black smokestack. Are those new, I wonder? Here's something new. While I was shooting that, I noticed that you could go down this path, and I kept going. I'm like, how far can I get? This has been closed. The secret path has been closed while they're working on the Mark Twain. And the more I kept going, the more I got to keep going. And then I found guests back there actually dining. And then I found the steps. Ladies and gentlemen, the secret path is open again. Isn't that wonderful? I was never concerned that it wouldn't reopen, but it's just nice to have it back, even though you got a lot of scrim kind of, ruining the aesthetic, as it were. But still, I'm very pleased and very happy to see that the secret path is back open again. I would say that I feel like this is a possibility that they could be getting close to wrapping. They're not supposed to be done this soon, but if they're not using the path for staging anymore, does that mean that they've gotten to that far along in the project? I don't know. We're looking at the Twain from the secret path, or the area next to the secret path along the walkway. I don't know. I feel like they're ahead of schedule here. Maybe it's a possibility. I can't imagine this could take months more. It was supposed to be down for 5 months. It's only been what, a month and a half, 2 months, if that. Tianas Bayou Adventure. Look at that mountain. This, by the way, I shot this. I promised before that I was going to take Grandpa up to the top of the Adventureland treehouse, and this is the view that we found. And look at what we're finding. It's a very nice view, a level view with the top of the mountain, and we can see that mesh that we observed last week. I could have sworn I just saw some welding happening. It looks like crap now, but just you wait. Just you wait, guys. That beastly looking scene is going to turn into something beautiful. And there you can actually see right there. Yeah, there's a guy. There it is. You can see the welding sparks. They are in the act of welding. That guy's in a harness. This is some of the best news that I have been able to report on this attraction ever, I think, since it went down. This is the best news that we've had since it went down. This is the most optimistic and positive thing that we can report, have been able to report on Splash Mountain, on Tianas Bayou Adventure since the attraction closed. The reason why I say that is because what this means is we are leaving the demo phase and we are entering the construction phase. We are now building. We're building now. We're creating and not destroying. We're creating what I believe to be something really, really great. Matter of fact, let's take a look at the model from D23. That's a pretty good indication of what we should expect to find. Let's go back actually real quick. you can now imagine what is going to happen here. That has sort of a dome-like quality to it, to the way that they're, the initial way they're assembling that mesh. It has a dome-like quality to it. And then when you look at the model, there's sort of a broccoli stalk nature to the way that foliage is being designed. The mountain is going to be less rock, less mountain, and more organic looking, more vegetation than Splash Mountain had before. And this is something that we've discussed in the past as well. But this is our first indication. This is why I'm so excited. This is our first visual clue that, of what is to be, what we can expect. What is the expectation? The expectation is what we're watching them build right now is that. That's what we're watching them build right now. Doesn't that get you excited? Doesn't that make you like, oh my gosh, when can I see this? When is that going to happen? When is that going to materialize? And meanwhile, those guys inside right there, those guys inside that mountain, they're probably working on those lights in there. Because that's all happening inside. Dude, there's lots of stuff happening inside this mountain right now. But maybe that's what those guys are doing. Mama Odie's lights at the top of that lift hill. Guys, it's happening. It's happening. I'm going to put that in the thumbnail. It's happening. Let's go back and get a closer look at that mesh. I could hear a guy hammering. I could hear him hammering. There he is. It seems like this. These are the reasons why I love making these videos. Why I love making construction videos. Because it's potential. It's potential. I love potential. I could do this all day. I could literally do that. There's more welding happening there. There's just so many guys in there, all just busy they're making magic inside that mountain right now. Meanwhile, in the back, they have covered up the hole. You guys remember that big hole we've been watching them, carve out of that mountain for a few months now? They've covered it up with some plastic wrap. Don't know why. Fascinating. I am fascinated. Checking in on the entrance, nothing new to report here. Things are just as we left them before with the white X's placed about the entrance area. So we're still standing by to see what they're doing there. Also standing by for the beanstalk at Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. The scaffolding and scrim have I'd say that's about doubled in size. It was about half of that last week. Now we've got, 5 sections of scaffolding and scrim there. Still no sign, though, as far as I can tell, of the actual beanstalk. Now, forgive me, but I'd like to take a quick break from this construction update to let you guys know about Getaway Today. You may already know that they are our preferred vacation planner, travel agent for our fans who are looking to book a trip to Disneyland or Walt Disney World or more. Universal Studios Hollywood, Universal Orlando, SeaWorld, Legoland, you name it. As of this report, they are official sponsors of this show, and we couldn't be more happy about that. We've really enjoyed our association that we've had with them for the past year or so, and they have been a great supporter of this show. And I'd like to think that we know them very well. We've met many of them personally, and we know how kind they are and how really tremendously good they are at their jobs. And that's why I'm confident in referring our fans to Getaway, because I am confident that you will be treated just as well as we have. If you're planning a trip to a Disney park or Universal or anything else of that nature, if you're planning a trip soon, use the link in our description so that they know that we sent you and so that we know that you were sent to them through one of our YouTube videos. And in so doing, you can be confident that you're going to be getting some of the best possible service from people who know everything there is to know about planning a trip to the Disney parks. Thank you for that. Let's get back to the show. Somebody pointed out to me in our live stream, Disney's has replaced the bell at the top of the fire station at Town Square with a painted scrim. If you're curious, that's how it normally would look, an actual bell at the top of the fire department. It's possible that it could just be that they wanted to replace the bell, although I can't imagine what could have possibly happened to it to necessitate them replacing it, but it's worth noting. It's something to watch and observe. Hopefully it's not a big deal, and they just had to replace the bell. That's new business. Here's some old business. We haven't checked in on the Adventureland restrooms in a while. because nothing is happening. Literally nothing is happening behind that wall. I don't want to put the camera in there because it's really, really backstagey, but nothing is going on back there. They're not anywhere near close to, they haven't even started replacing whatever rock work used to be there. Let's get on the monorail, check out downtown Disney. The vigor is down here now because they've opened up this area, but real quick, let's stop here. This is something else that was mentioned to me in the live stream. But somebody said, hey, check out the door and the windows. The assumption was, my understanding was that this building is going to be backstage, that this is for cast. This is a cast member building. And I can't imagine that it wouldn't be anything else besides that. But those windows are curious. Those look to be guest facing. They could be guest facing. Maybe they are, but I don't know. Why would you build, if this is a cast member building, what's the purpose of those windows? I don't know. Perhaps we're overthinking it. I will say this, right next to that door to the left, a lot of plumbing and I don't know what else going on there. That is not the kind of thing typically that you would have guest facing, forward facing. That is something that you would see backstage, which tells me this is still backstage. But anyway, worth observing. Oh, look at that. These guys, they're working. They're actually using the stairs and all that up there. As for the dirt next to this building, it does look like they're starting to shape it a little bit. You know, affecting the grade there. You can see there's some definition now in that dirt where there wasn't any before. So it could be that they're getting ready to do some construction there. We'll stand by. We'll take a walk into the now open area, the walkway here through the new downtown Disney section. That is the retail and dining building. I mean, there's not much to see. Those trees, as sparse as they are, they do a really fine job of obstructing our view. But there's not a lot to see anyway. It's still basically just a shell of what it's going to be. Nothing that we can see, you know, in terms of development there. We'll turn around and look. There's the covered area that's going to be the new entrance, or I should say an additional entrance into this land coming from downtown Disney, you know, from the Simba parking lot. As for Din Tai Fung, just like the building across the way, I mean, yeah, they're making a lot of progress here. It certainly is more to... Look at that tree, seriously. They're making a lot of progress in that building. It's still nothing that we can point a finger at and say, hey, look, there's a thing. Not that I would expect that to happen, because as soon as that starts... It's the facade, really. It's all we're waiting for at this point. This is the area around the former stage. This is the green stage that was there that they destroyed. That is now behind a very thick and heavy scrim. We watched them destroy that last week. This week, they're probably doing... They're fixing the pavement that was around that area. So that'll be behind scrim for a little bit. Active work was happening in downtown Disney at Paseo and Centrico. This guy right here, he's installing the steel parts that are going to eventually hold the lights that are going to surround that entire building. And then as we walk towards the back, we can see that they have now placed a plastic tarp around the... I don't know why I always focus on this part of Paseo, but if it's, you know, I guess that's the first part that gets fine when they go upstairs. That's where you begin, and then you move your way back towards the backside of the restaurant. So there's that. DCA Schmoozies has finally opened. Reported last week that the menu is being updated to include alcohol. They're going to be putting alcohol in a bunch of the drinks. I wasn't sure if that was going to be put right up there on the menu. It was not. That's essentially the same menu that we had before. No alcohol is referenced at all, actually, on this menu. As for what they were doing, well, you know, I have a terrible memory when it comes to things like this, so you can correct me if I'm wrong. But that little, where that cast member is, that wasn't there before, right? I think that's probably what they were building, is whatever that thing is. I also want to say, I think that little, you know, where the napkins are and where you can get spoons, etc., and coffee creamers, that's new, right? And I also think they replaced this counter right here. I think that was replaced because they had an issue there where the counter was not designed very well and drinks were falling off of it. We'll turn around. Animation building. You may or may not have heard we're losing an attraction in here. It's not a big story. I mean, well, actually, for some folks, this is really emotional. It wasn't for me. I wasn't a big fan. Okay, Sorcerer's Workshop. You see that sign out there. You go down this little walkway, and there it is. There's Sorcerer's Workshop. It's fun. It's a nice diversion. Take your kids in there, do a little drawing, learn about animation and the different ways to animate things. But there's, for some, an area, a space that some people didn't even know existed, I think. You had to actually know or be made aware that this place existed. But back there, past and beyond the Sorcerer's Workshop, is Beast's Library, which is themed quite wonderfully. It looks terrific. I'm especially fond of the backlit books, you know, the book areas there. The effect of the Beast picture changing as the rose petals fall off the rose that's, you know, in that case. Falls, when the last petal falls, that picture of the prince there with the beast's claw marks on it will transform. And there it just fell, a little magic, and the portrait transforms into the regular prince. And then the fire starts. So we're losing this space. We're losing, Beast Library is going to close. I'm going to tell you for what in a second. Now, what some folks may not know, there's a segment of guests who don't know that Beast Library exists. Others, a further subset, will not know that that door used to be more show, even more show. Ursula's Grotto was behind that door. Now that was cool. I enjoyed Ursula's Grotto. I miss Ursula's Grotto. I won't get into it, but because I don't think there's, I don't know, maybe I'll try to find some video of it. I had some from a million years ago, but it looks terrible. But Ursula's Grotto was fun. And then you would exit out the backside of that room, and it would dump you into what is now the Frozen meet and greet, the character close-up. That used to be the exit area for Ursula's Grotto, and they had that Toy Story Zootrope out there, which was really neat. I mean, yeah, I guess this, you know, a Frozen meet and greet is better than the Toy Story Zootrope, I guess. But that's how that used to operate. Okay, so the reason they're closing Beast Library is because they're going to install the Imagination Campus in this location. The Imagination Campus used to be at the Blue Sky Cellar. Now that's of note because we've been watching the Blue Sky Cellar. We've seen occasionally a sign put up there that says that they're imagining something new here. And we were holding out hope that it would be something that was, you know, Blue Sky Cellar related, that it was going to be something Blue Sky. I used to love Blue Sky, man. Blue Sky Cellar was great. I used to love going in there. Hasn't been open the way it was since they redid Paradise Pier, when they turned Paradise Pier into Pixar Pier. That was the last thing that they showed here at the Blue Sky Cellar. The reason they're taking the Imagination Campus out of here and putting it into Beast Library because they're going to turn the Blue Sky Cellar into a DVC location. It's going to be reserved for DVC guests. That's kind of a buzzkill, Disney, I have to say. We're losing two attractions, really. We're losing Beast Library, and we're losing, well, we already lost it. Blue Sky Cellar's been lost for a while, lost to Imagination Campus, but we're not going to get an attraction back. So we're down two attractions at a park that's already short attractions. We need more to do at DCA, not less. But there you go. Disney is investing more into DVC. I don't know. I guess I'm being selfish because I'm not a DVC member. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe I'm being selfish, I guess. Because you know what? If you're a DVC member and you're paying all that money, which is a lot, then yeah, I'd want to be taken care of a little bit. So maybe I'll have to get me some DVC points to appreciate what they're doing here at the Blue Sky Cellar. Last stop is San Fransokyo. Look at that. Yay! We've got our sign finally. The Port of San Fransokyo sign. This was, something that I've been waiting for. A lot of people have been waiting for it to show up here at San Fransokyo because it was very obvious in the concept art. It's one of those things you could look at and say, hey, look, that looks nice. It's a really brightly lit neon sign that would look great. I'm getting this in the day, but here's some night footage we got from Scott Gustin on Twitter. It looks great, and I'm glad to see that they finally brought that in. It looks great, even during the day, and the lights do work during the day. And that, Fresh Baked, is our construction report. We've begun a new phase in that development, and I'm really excited about watching that happen. in the coming months. We've got about a year to go. About a year to go. So stay tuned to Fresh Baked. Watch our construction reports. And watch me geek out on construction because I love it. And then follow us on Instagram at _FreshBaked, on Twitter at FreshBakedDisney, that's fresh with no E, and on TikTok at FreshBakedDisney. And if you like our show and want to show you support, please do consider joining our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/freshbaked. Otherwise, thanks again for watching, everybody. We love you. Be safe out there. Be kind to one another. Fresh Baked.